9 experienced hikers entered the Ural Mountains in 1959. Only one thing is certain about what happened next. Something terrified them. The group was led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov. These weren't inexperienced adventurers. They were skilled hikers, used to surviving brutal winter conditions. Their journey began like any other expedition. They took photographs, shared meals, joked with one another. Everything seemed normal. Then they vanished. When the hikers failed to return, search teams were sent into the mountains. Weeks later, rescuers found their camp. And what they discovered made no sense. The tent had been sliced open, not from the outside, from the inside, as if the hikers had been desperate to escape. Even stranger, their boots, coats, and supplies were still inside. Whatever happened, happened fast. Investigators followed footprints leading away from the tent. Some hikers appeared to be barefoot, others wore only socks. Yet they had walked directly into a freezing blizzard. Then, the bodies began to appear. The first were found beneath a cedar tree, far from camp, as if they had desperately tried to build a fire. Others were discovered scattered across the mountainside, frozen where they fell. But the final discoveries were the most disturbing. Several hikers suffered massive chest injuries. One had a fractured skull. Yet there was surprisingly few external wounds. It was as if they had been struck by an enormous force. But by what? Why abandon a safe tent? Why run into deadly weather half-dressed? And what happened during those final hours? More than 60 years later, theories still flood the internet. Avalanches, military experiments, rare weather events. Countless explanations have been proposed, yet none answer every question. Because on one freezing night in 1959, something convinced 9 experienced hikers that the darkness outside their tent was safer than whatever terrified them inside.